Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another exciting episode of your favorite podcast, the Journey Called Love podcast. It's still Damlola Daisy, and I give practical guides to doing relationship the right way. That's the God's way. It's a very great privilege to have you again. If you're part of people that listened to the last episode, woo, clap for you. I clap for you. I clap for you. Well done. Thank you so much for doing that. And I trust that you got value for your time as I promised. And I know that now you know if compromise is safe, if it is necessary. I believe that you now understand what it means to compromise, and you understand how that compromises are actually an essential part of our lives. Very necessary for peace. For peace and happiness of the relationships that we have around us. Well, to not take your time too much, today we are going to be talking about another aspect. We are still on compromising, it's still all about compromise in relationship, but today we are going to be looking at another angle to it as regards how to compromise. Because it's easy to say, oh, you should compromise, you should make compromises, but it's difficult in reality to actually compromise. Sometimes we are just very right, like we are right. I mean, this about me. Why would you want me to, do something else? Why would you want me to do what you want when you know that I don't eat plantain, for example? Why would you want me to just manage with what you want? Sometimes we do not know how to compromise, and sometimes actually the mistake we make is that we think that compromise is coming to a middle ground, like come to a place where both parties are okay. Like you shift small, I shift small. Sorry for that word, but yeah, you understand what I'm saying. You come to a place where you are in the middle. Everybody is adjusting till we get to the point where everybody is at least a little bit okay. Well, compromise is not all about that. Sometimes it's not about a middle ground. Like I said last week, the most important thing in compromising is that both parties are living happy, and the relationship it is happy. The relationship is peaceful. Very, very, that's the only reason why there are other reasons, of course, we're going to get into it also today, but the major reasons why we do compromises is for peace, and is not in the context of, oh, let me just do it for peace to reign, I don't want trouble. No, we are doing it out of love for peace. So you're not just doing it because, this person's trouble is too much, let me just leave her. Yeah, that's why it is necessary for you to know these things, so that you understand, you just know basically that this is something that you have to do. So when it comes to the time when you have to when you have to make it a reality, you don't do it from a place of let me just do it, right? You do it because you actually want the peace of your relationship, and regardless, you still love the person that you're with. All right, so today we'll go first into types of compromises. So this would help you in compromising. And I want to give a scenario. I want us to work with a scenario today. So let's take, for example, a couple, maybe not married, but in a relationship, and then they're having an argument about if it's okay to attend parties or not. Let's say, for example, the lady is a party person. She loves going for events. She's a social butterfly. She loves going out and having great time. And then the guy is a bit more reserved, not because he does not have a social life, but he just doesn't like the O and B thing, right? So every other Saturday, his girlfriend goes to any and every party she's invited to. She even gets clothes. Sometimes she even complains to him about the ashrebi and how expensive they are, right? But this guy on his part is like, is this all even necessary? And then they get into an argument on why you should. I mean, it got to the point where the guy wants her to stop attending weddings or stop attending parties, as the case may be. Now, we are in this situation, a scenario, right? And they want to compromise. It's hard. The lady cannot let go of parties. The guy is tired of having to deal with her always going to parties. So now we're going to use this scenario to to go through the types of compromises. We're not probably going to solve their issues for them, but I want you to understand what I'm talking about better, right? So the first type is what is called split the difference, and it's basically the one that we all know, meeting in the middle, So in this scenario that we are making, how about we come to the middle? Okay, fine. You don't want me to go to parties. How about I don't go every weekend. Maybe I just like go once in a month, and I don't involve you in talks on how expensive things are, or I do not even get expensive stuff like that will make me come to complain to you. And how about you just shift and be like, okay, fine, once a month is okay, or once in 2 months is okay. A middle ground, that is split the difference, Then another type is do this for me, I do this for you. So it's like you're compensating with something else, you're compensating with condition. You're like, okay, so if I allow you to go for your parties, you would, let me say, you would keep the details away from me, and you would make sure that it does not affect our routine or our conversation. That's like what I mean when I say do this for me, I do this for you, right? We come to a point where we are able to compromise with conditions. Say, okay, for example, if I allow you to take this meal today, if I allow you to eat plantain and fried rice today, you are going to make me pounded yam tomorrow, something like that. Then another thing, or the third type of compromise that we have is my way this time, your way next time. I think that is a bit similar to the split the differences in our scenario, right? Sometimes it might not be the same depending on the situation at hand, right? But yeah, there's also that, okay, fine, this time around I'm going to go for the party, but next time if there's another party coming up, I won't. And then we'll keep doing like that, like alternatively like that. In some other situations it could be like, okay, how about, okay, we have an issue on, or we are trying to agree on whether to go out or to stay indoor. Okay, fine, I'm like, okay, let's go out this time. That is what you want. Then next time we are going to stay indoor, right? That is another type of compromise. Then the fourth one is what I want, a little bit of what we both want. It's also like coming to the middle ground, like, right? And this, I want to give another example. Like, for example, you're planning a wedding and the groom wants a very small wedding, just, close family, friends, and, just close group and all of that. And the bride, and the woman... Most times now, they always want big parties, right? It's only now, like now that the economy is like a bit harsh, maybe every bride would want to just go with the groom, right? So in my example, the bride wants a bigger party, invite everybody, So a kind of compromise is coming to do a little bit of what we both want, Okay, yes, you want a big hall. You want 1,000 guests. I want a small hall and I want 500 guests. Okay, so how about we do a small hall? Okay, how about we do a big hall and then we can actually have, the guests. We do a big hall decorated as you want it, but would still have this number of guests, doing a little bit of what each of you want. Then the fifth type of compromise that I have here is temporary trial. So it's like you saying, okay, this time around we'll do it your way. If it works for us, that's what this means. If it works for the relationship, if it does not affect our relationship, we'll go on with it. But if it doesn't, then we'll do it my way. So with the scenario I was painting earlier, or that we are working with, we'll say, okay, go for your parties. If it doesn't affect conversation, doesn't affect our routine, if it doesn't affect anything that we normally do, then you can just go on with it. But if it does, we are going to go my way, and my way is that you do not go for parties at all, So that's also another type of compromise. Then there is also one that is called fair fighting. This is where you respect each other's needs. You come to understand, okay, why do you go for parties? Okay, why don't you want me to go? You understand each other's needs, and then you come to a compromise that would still make sense to the both of you, that would suit, or that would include your reasons, and that way everybody's happy, right? Another type of compromise, I feel like this is all about types, but we are going to still talk about how to compromise. Another type of compromise is selective concession. It's like, okay, I compromise on some but not on others. It's like you're selective. Okay, yeah, we have a lot of issues we want to sort out, but I'll compromise on this and this, but I would not compromise on that and that. That's also another type. Then there is the last one that I call, or that is called trade-offs. Doing something to get something in return. Is like, okay, watching football with your partner just so that you get to spend more time with the other person. Or, for example, another example is joining in the kitchen. That can be a total no for some guys. But joining in the kitchen to help out so that in return you get to eat dinner faster, or you get to eat dinner more in time, right? Those are examples of compromises. Then quickly, I want to rush through how to compromise. Tips that helps you compromise better. First, you need to understand that compromise should not be expected. Sometimes you need to communicate. Yes, you might think that this is just common sense now. You're supposed to just agree. When I say don't do this, it's supposed to just be that should just be it. But no. It's a relationship, like it's a love relationship, not a master-servant relationship. You need to really put that in mind. So you communicate your issues, you communicate what you want, or you communicate what you expect compromising. And communication in these regards is not one-sided. It's not you doing the talking, it's the both of you. If you look through all of the types of compromise I outlined, you see that there are things that you have to talk about, right? You have to talk about them to get to a point, to reach a conclusion. So yes, compromise should be communicated. Don't just expect it, right? And in communication, be respectful. This kind of communication is not the one where you are shouting the roof off. It doesn't work that way. And then you're not dismissive. You're not dismissive of the other person's reasons. For example, you're not dismissive of the other person's desires or what the other person wants. You're also trying to understand what the other person is saying. And then very important that while communicating your compromise, or while communicating this, you use the I instead of the you sentence. Instead of you always do this, you use the I really think that I really think that this would help build our relationship better. I really feel like if I go for parties, I can, do this or that, depending on what your reasons are, So be careful of the way that you say the way you construct your sentences, so that at the end of the day, you don't shoot yourself in the leg, right? Use the I sentence, or use the I word instead of the you word. Till I come your way again in the next episode, which is definitely next week, Friday. Do well to stay loved, stay happy, and like I said last week, no grief for love, we no go last. That is our motto this year, or in this season. We are not doing anything that is not going to last. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Do not forget that. Like, share, comment, and stay loved. Bye, guys.